You know what they say, boys. Puff, puff, passing that queef. Here's a secret to some card tricks. Fat bitches and cocaine. So for no reason whatsoever, I'm going to show you a card trick using the missing piece deck of playing cards. And here's the trick, although I urge you not to look at my bulge. We have a deck of cards mixed and shuffled. It really doesn't matter. And the participants select a card. Let's say it happens to be the Jack of Diamonds. That card is lost somewhere in the middle of the deck. Generally lost. Look at that. I'm not holding any little breaks that people usually do. And the deck is generally mixed and shuffled, and you can hand these to a participant and they could mix and shuffle these cards as you drop them on the table. You could deal them out in a pile if you want. Some people mix cards that way. But ultimately, the cards are shuffled by you, by everyone, and by Jesus. And guess what, my friends? Despite the condition of the playing cards, despite the fact that they've been mixed, despite all of that, you could still go through the deck right now, and I can easily and quickly find one card and one card alone, and that happens to be their card, the Jack off Diamonds. Bitch. Man. Yeah, fucking rich. Fuck. Stupid short. Your dad's not in your life. This is why your dad's not in your life. First try. Now, this trick is a combination of a lot of different ideas. For example, one's by Danny Daratiz and his take on the Laurie Ireland Shuffle. If you're not familiar with this, maybe I suggest PigCake Magic Academy, the home of over 1,500 videos going over card stuff, coin stuff, everything you need to become the best magician you could possibly be. As a matter of fact, I probably have a running list right now on the screen of the tutorials that you get access to the moment you sign up. That's outdated. That's probably 2 years old. That's way less than what you actually get on the Academy today. It's 1,500 videos and counting, and you get all that for just the price of $5 a month. A White Claw a month, and you get access to all that content, baby. Now, you do require a small setup for this trick. You need the cards separated, in this case segregated, by reds and blacks. Who would have thunk it, my friends? We went through a civil war, and yet we're still segregating. Now, you're more than welcome to introduce this bit by doing what's called an Ireland Shuffle, which is as follows. You're going to grab a small chunk of cards in the overhand style. By the way, a little bit of a message for you guys, right? You're then going to grab another chunk of approximately 5, maybe 7 cards. Then you're going to start running cards off singly. You're going to start running cards off singly until you feel like you've crossed the halfway point of the pack. Once you've done this, you could then grab chunks of cards and continue off the shuffle. All this has done is switch the order of the cards from being red, maybe black on top, to red on top. And this is the exact technique that you're going to do, but on the table. So first things first, we're going to have a card picked, and we're going to tell the participant, do me a favor, just touch one of these. The reason we say do me a favor and touch one of these is because you don't want them digging. You don't want them digging through the pack. You want them to grab one of the cards from the upper pile of the deck, which is in this case, all the black cards, the black kings, which are all of these, because all the blacks are kings. R.I.P. my boy, George Floyd, you know what I'm saying? Got to give a little bit of a rep to him. Anniversary is almost coming up of the overdose. So we're going to have a card picked. And in this case, let's say it's going to be the 5 of clubs. Now, I'm going to leave it face up for the sake of explanation. You're not going to leave it face up. And you're going to place that card into the bottom of the pile. So in this case, you're going to place that card somewhere near the bottom of the deck, going into the red cards. You notice where we're going here. We're going to squeeze that card in the deck and show that nothing is being held. Look at that. You could show your disgusting fingernails to the participants and tell them that you actually don't know how to cut them correctly. But there's no breaks. And at this point, all you're going to do is just grab a chunk of cards from the top and start mixing them on top. You could just mix them haphazardly on top and drop them on the table. You could even give them to a participant for them to mix and then drop on the table. It doesn't matter. And if you've noticed, we're going to be in the same position as that Ireland Shuffle, because in between those two piles, I'm actually going to start dealing cards on the table, again, as if nothing matters. Once I've passed that halfway point, or where I feel is the halfway point, I'm going to start chunking the cards and shuffling them in chunks again. Maybe dropping chunks of cards on a table. Again, it doesn't matter because the order of the cards is now that the black cards are going to go on the bottom and the red cards are now going to be shuffled to the top. So you can even hand packets of cards to the participants, have them mix it thoroughly, and then drop it on the table. And again, it doesn't matter because the cards are not really changing order. They're just changing orientation. In this case, now the red cards are actually on top, along with that one card that the participant has touched, which is, in our case, the 5 of clubs. So look at how fair this is. You haven't held any breaks. You haven't done anything sneaky with your fingers. You've shuffled the cards. You've handed piles of cards. You've dropped them on the table. And yet now you could very easily spread to the deck, and all you're going to look for is the one lonely black. The one lonely black amongst all the red cards, and that's going to be their card. Now, I don't suggest for you just to go, hey, here's your card. Here's your card. You got it? I found it. I found it despite all those shuffles. Then it becomes a Chris Ramsey puzzle, and nobody has enough cocaine for that. So what we do is we could give a little bit of a presentation. Tell the participant, I want you to look at me. Look at me in the face. All right, I'm getting an impression. I'm getting an impression that you were touched by your uncle, but that actually tells me a lot about the card that you might be thinking of. This is I'm getting the impression of a black card, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm actually between two cards here, maybe these two. Why don't you just look at me and tell me what your first memory was? Good. That lets me know everything I need to know. And of course, all I've done is just put a little bit of effort in revealing the card they picked. Now you could do the exact same thing with the cards marked in the back. So this way you don't actually have to go through the cards face up. You could actually find their card face down. And the way this is done is that we're just going to be marking half the deck. Now, there are a number of ways of doing this. You could get a small pencil and dot all the cards on both sides. So in this case, you just grab a little pencil dot and dot them on both sides. And then now you have a marked half deck. You could also take out your favorite, in this case, fake Benchmade 940, and just scrape a little bit off both sides of the upper left corner of the deck. So now you've scraped off a little bit of that ink. So when you spread the cards, you know that all these are going to be within your marked set. In this case, I already have one here, actually, that I've marked in that exact same way. If you look at the upper corner, you could see that I've scraped a little bit off. And that's enough for me to find this card from a face-down deck. So now it becomes the exact same trick. The only difference is that you're doing it all with the cards face down. So you're going to be mixing the cards face down, dropping them haphazardly. It doesn't matter. Dealing through the cards like this, shuffling them, mixing them, dropping them on the table. And now you don't have to even deal the cards face up. You don't even have to look through them face up. You could just spread through the cards until you notice your marking, and now you know where their card is. Now, of course, you could reveal this in a number of ways. You could spread through the deck until you notice that card and then procure a small little pinky break. You could have the participant look at you and go, all right, I'm just going to try to see if I could get an impression for these cards. And all I'm doing is that I'm going to deal to my marked card. So now I could deal this card separately. I could deal the rest of the cards on the table. And then guess what? I found their card. In this case, let's pretend it's the 7 of hearts. And oh, holy me, they think you're Jesus. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, right? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Look at what I did here. I actually added a little bit here to this knife, a little quick deployment thing. So when it goes in my pocket, I can pull it out and it deploys. Look at that. It deploys without me having to actually physically engage the lock. It just does it. I can just pull it out and it employs, or it deploys. It doesn't employ because I'm unemployed, but it's a cool little detail on this very fake bug out knife. Sorry, Benchmade 940, which is the perfect fake. I've mentioned this many times. I've raved about this knife. I found one that wasn't a good fake, and I was very disappointed. And then I found another one, and it happened to be exactly what I wanted, the best fake of all time, because I can't afford a real Benchmade 940. I know, it's what I do as a magician. Maybe you can help me afford it by checking out the PigCake Magic Academy. Some notes at the end of this video. As I've mentioned before as well, my brand new trick is out with Alakazam, which is this right here, hotspot. Coin, lighter through coin. The lighter goes through the coin. It's a fun trick. You can check it out on Alakazam's magic website. I'll be selling them individually on my own, I guess. Actually, I will be getting a number of them. But buy them from Alakazam and let them know that they should pick up my other tricks that I've pitched for them. Tell Peter Nardi, Party Nardi, that he should definitely pick up my other tricks, because then he's going to be more inclined to work with me in the future, which means more money for me and more magic products out there with Piggy's name on it, which actually, believe it or not, this is my very first official magic product ever in the market, and I'm very happy. And I can't wait for you to get your little grubby hands on it. Don't really know how else to end the video. I guess I'll just stare into the camera.